You're listening to Two Strangers, One Podcast. Please visit twostrangersonePodcast.net.
Subscribe to us on iTunes or on the Stitcher app for Android devices. And now, here's Chris Colon and Paul Versprillo.
Well, hello and welcome to Two Strangers One Podcast. I'm Chris.
I'm Paul.
And I'm going to find that fucking groundhog and choke the shit out of him. Apparently, we're getting another 6 weeks of winter. Not that it's really a groundhog responsible for that shit, but snowing again. It's been snowing all fucking week.
Yep.
Like last week we had like this. They were like, "Oh, it's a blizzard coming," and we actually have more snow this week than last. And it's just been. I'm fucking disgusted. I could barely park my car today, and it's just making me nuts. And then on top of everything else, my cell phone. Okay, guys, doing a podcast ain't free and it ain't cheap.
No,
I'm broke. God damn it. So my cell phone decided to stop working on Tuesday, either Monday afternoon or Tuesday. And I get paid on Thursday. So I'm like, all right, look, I could go about a day or two without my cell phone. It's not the fucking end of the world. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, I think all cell phones that are even ones that are not have absolutely no service whatsoever. I believe all cell phones can dial 911. I think that's a law.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So my thing is that in the small chance, I was with my daughter. My daughter, and it was so the snow is so bad they actually canceled school. So, I'm with my daughter. So, in the worst case scenario that I have to call 911, which is the only people that I need to call, I can call 911, But holy shit, why is it on the 1.5 days that I need to get, that I don't have service, the whole fucking world decides to want to get in contact with me? I got fucking issues with my baby mama. She's trying to contact me and we're going back and forth and the exchange is and she goes, "Oh, what happened to your phone?" I said, "Well, it's not working." Why isn't it working? Because I didn't pay the bill. Well, you need to get on top of that. No shit. You think I was, you think I'm doing it on purpose? You think, no, I don't want to have any kind of cell phone service whatsoever. It's take 2 fucking seconds before you speak,
Yeah, I want to just play with Rosie for the rest of my life.
Yeah. It's like, why don't I don't get that kind of thinking. Oh, you got to get on top of that. No shit. You know what I'm saying? You're not getting any you're not giving me any money. I can understand, if it was like some ridiculous, if it was some situation where I had money. No, I'm broke. You have to jump on top of that. It's not like I'm some fucking bohemian disconnected from reality. And then there's the part that pisses me off is you're reaching me on Facebook. You know how to reach me. You're talking to me. You, unlike the rest of the fucking world, have figured out how to get in contact with me. And you're giving me shit about it. Why is it my phone, when I do have service, nobody fucking calls me. You know what I'm saying? I'm a big texter. I never have to speak to anyone. I mean, if it's a person's older than, I would say 50, those are people that I actually speak to. Right. And even then, and mostly it's because of my daughter. I mean, obviously, I'll call my parents or I'll call my daughter's godparents and stuff like that. But anyone that I need to speak to is pretty much through text or on Facebook. And holy shit, my phone goes down for a day and the whole fucking world wants to get in contact with me. So, I'm hoping, I wonder who else has been trying to reach me, in the past day and a half, I probably won the fucking Publishers Clearinghouse sweepstakes or something like that. And I missed it because my fucking phone was down. I'm totally fucking stressed right before the podcast. I'm trying to, Paul and I are trying to get our ideas together and what we're going to talk about. It just threw me off, man. I'm all hopped up on caffeine right about now. And the odd thing is I really, really I have to take a piss, but I don't really have to take a piss. I kind of have that little pressure on the bladder, and I'm going to see if I can go the whole podcast without having to piss. Maybe I'll speak with urgency, but I kind of have to piss, but I don't. I know if I get up to piss, it's going to be like a little dribble drabble. And I'm like, I got up for this.
It is little. It is definitely little. Oh.
I got up for this. So, current events, Paul and I putting stuff together, talking about the show. And I guess, the big thing that happened this past week, the worldwide event that people watch from people from every country in the world. And okay, we're going to talk about the Super Bowl, but just real quick, somebody on my Twitter was like, "Oh, the Super Bowl has," and I'm just going to throw a number out there, 500 million viewers or something like that. well, the World Cup has, 1 billion viewers. And let me tell you, asshole, United States, we don't care about we don't care about soccer. You're football. We don't care. Yeah, the 500 million in the United States versus your billion. No, we got money. We actually have money to spend. People. How many people do you know? Okay, and I can be honest with you. I can say I'm friends with 2 people that have actually left this country. Left this country to move, and to both of them actually moved to England. But how many people do we know? How many of our friends' parents are people who come from other fucking countries? You know what I'm saying? Like in my whole life, I have friends whose parents don't even speak fucking English who came to this country. I have, friends that people that I know, coworkers of mine who and all the jobs that I've had during my entire life, people have come to this country, what I'm saying, and got, whatever couple bucks they can to come to this country. You know what I'm saying? So fuck soccer World Cup bullshit. The money's here. The money's here in the United States. You know what I'm saying? If you compare the amount of the numbers of people, like I said, in my life, people that I've known 2 people actually left this country and moved to England. But on the flip side, I can't even start to count the amount of people I know who weren't born in this country and who came to this country, So fuck your soccer bullshit. That's all I just wanted to say that. So let's talk about the Super Bowl, Paul.
Oh, God.
Now, of course, I'm a little upset because, anyone who's listened to the last episode would know, not that I'm a big Seattle Seahawks fan, and it's not, I am an anti-Patriots. I'm the exact opposite of whatever a fan is. So does that make me a hater? Am I a hater?
Well, I thought you wanted to blow up Boston, so.
Well, I don't want to blow up Boston, but if they get blown up, I'm not gonna. No tears will be shed.
Oh, my God.
The
views of Christopher Cologne do not reflect Paul.
Yeah, and like I said in the last episode, actually, we have a lot of listeners in Seattle, and I want to thank everybody, the people that have been interacting with us on Twitter, and the people who have been sending us emails and stuff like that. And our numbers, it is so weird. Like when you go to the website, because right now this podcast is still hosted on Podomatic, because quite frankly, we're paid up till October of next year. So goddamn it, I'm gonna fucking use up every fucking penny until the last second. But we're hosted through Podomatic, and Podomatic gives you ratings.
Wait. That's what she said.
Wait, what did I miss?
She said you're paid up to the end of the year. You're going to use every bit of space. And I said, that's...
Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm jamming it in there, baby. No lube. I'm flipping it over and sticking it in every fucking hole I can.
Too much detail.
So, Podomatic, obviously they have ratings. There's like an overall rating, which of course, everyone and their fucking mother has a podcast, and not to cast any negative shadow on your other podcast, Paul, but I would like to think, one thing I like to say about our podcast is, in my opinion, this podcast is an original podcast. There's no, I get sick and tired of like, this is the podcast where we're gonna watch, Little House on the Prairie and we're gonna talk about it.
I don't do that shit either.
Every episode of Little House on the Prairie, and I use Little House on the Prairie. Of course, that's not what I mean, but
Little House on the.
But I'm just.
Where the fuck did you get that example?
Prairie Cast or whatever. I wouldn't be surprised if out there, because I saw like recently there's like a Seinfeld cast, and it's people going through every episode of Seinfeld, and there's people and like I said, okay, your other podcast, yes, it's, but it's like I would like to think that I put in a lot of energy and effort to do an original podcast. Like I don't necessarily feel like I have to glom on to something else or whatever. Of course, I would, would I, if I could, would I? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Am I like with the Jack and Triumph show coming up? Am I hoping that kind of gives us a little bump in the downloads? Absolutely. Because I guarantee you when that show comes out February 20th at 11:30 on Cartoon Network.
Oh, you're not keeping track. You're not keeping track of that. No.
Yeah. Well, when that comes out, I'm definitely going to be hitting the fucking web hardcore. I'm like, hey, you're the fat guy in the first episode. That's me.
What he means by hitting the web hardcore, he's going to be watching some porn.
And, but it's like, am I going to use every little advantage I could? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, when me and my other, the first co-host, Kristen, like when we went on Mike and Ming's, Smart Coast Morning Show, that got us a nice little bump in the ratings. There was a time when we were doing our Kickstarters and stuff like that where I was kind of like really hitting Twitter hard or whatever. We got a bunch of our listeners that way. And thank you for all you guys. And I love you guys. And that's the whole thing is I would like to think that we're giving original content given out on a regular basis. It's not like, oh, we're only going to talk about Gotham and Arrow and and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I mean, great shows, and yes, we will mention them, but the show isn't predicated on some existing project. We're talking about everyday things, our lives in general. And the general format of the show is the first half of the show is sort of our, everyday life bullshit. I mean, not bullshit, but I'm saying, our take on things that are going on. And then the second half of the show is nerdy news, which, of course, if you're on Twitter or if you listen to any other, quote unquote, nerdy podcast or whatever, they're going to talk about. But I mean, I like to think we put our own little spin on it. Obviously the news is the news, and the same news you're going to get on fucking, CNN, you're going to get on, I mean, maybe not the exact same news, but, on MSNBC or even Fox. I mean, it's the same story. How they report it's a whole other issue. Which is I would like to think that we report it in our way, in our own special way. So I'm not gonna suck any dick of a TV show or something like that. Like, this is the pod. This is, and God knows how many times like, I'm gonna do a podcast where we talk about 80s video games. Blow me, what I'm saying? Like, I'm tired of. And then and me, who I consider myself the fucking comic book fan, I listen to comic book podcasts, and most of them are fucking boring as shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, you kind of have to, you can't really exclude your audience. Obviously, the people who listen to the show kind of have working knowledge. And even I would like to, even I kind of like, you have to relate this information to people. You can't just, okay, we're going to talk about this, and the metahumans came, and then this and then they fought the Inhumans, and then they found out that the X gene, and it's like, dude, you have to fucking make it a little more relatable. You know what I'm saying? Yes, you know your stuff, and here's a fucking cookie for you knowing your stuff. But you got to fucking make it relatable. At least I try. I understand that not every person who listens to this podcast likes comic books. I understand that not everyone likes anime. I understand that not everyone likes certain shows, like I said, like let's say like an Arrow or the Flash or Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or any of those other shows, but at least I try to make it relatable, I mean, I don't know. So holy shit, how the fuck did I get off on that tangent?
I don't know. You kept whacking off there, so it was kind of funny. But continue.
Yeah, so the Super Bowl, I actually missed like the beginning of the Super Bowl because I got out of work. I picked up my daughter, got home, and I kind of like, I turned on the TV. By the time I got home, like the game, it was already like 15 minutes in. And I always kind of like to watch it's always like the first break of commercials where, those are the commercials everyone seems to talk about. So I kind of like, and especially since I was with my daughter, I didn't get a chance to like full on pay attention to the TV. So I missed like all the majority of the, for someone like me who doesn't really watch sports ball, to watch the commercials. But I mean, of course, the ones that are going on right now that everyone seems to be talking about is the Nationwide commercial where the kid's like, I never got a chance to grow up or learn how to fly because I died in the bath or some shit like that. And it's like really, really fucking depressing commercial. Like, it's about a kid dying. And of course, everyone's fucking making jokes about that. There seem to be, I've noticed, in my opinion, there are like 3 different commercials that were kind of like super geared towards dads and fathers. And I'm looking at a list of, there was a Nissan ad. There's one ad where like they have all these kids, like literally like people recording their child like for the first time saying daddy or dada or whatever. I forgot which one is that. And I want to say there was a Toyota Camry commercial. Yeah, the Toyota Camry where the dad's like raising his daughter and at the end of the commercial, like he's driving her to the airport. So like for her to go into like basic training. And it's this cute fucking blonde haired, blue eyed chick. But like, she's going to the airport and she has this big gigantic fucking military backpack on her. And it's just like, it is nice to know that dads are kind of still part of because I thought when I left the 18 to 35 demographic, I said, man, that's it. No one's going to advertise to me anymore. But I guess if you're watching the Super Bowl, you're probably a dad.
Probably.
You're at least a man. I mean, I guess, it's they kind of, it's the commercial Dove. The commercial with the kids is the Dove men, real men take care of their kids. Or is it? I don't know. Yeah. I'm watching it right now. It's like the kids are like, daddy, daddy, daddy. And it's, real strength. And to sell Dove. I mean, Dove, which is basically, for women like with sensitive skin. But, like, I guess they really want to push their men's products. What makes a man stronger? Dove. And not that I'm shitting on Dove, because if they want to throw us a couple bucks, I'll be more than happy to advertise Dove. Dove men, use it to clean your balls. Because real men have sweaty balls that need to be cleaned. So were you as disappointed as I was, Paul?
Well, I don't know.
Did you get a chance? Did you watch the game? I'm sorry, not to cut.
I didn't watch the game, but obviously, the Super Bowl. I mean, this is like the 3rd or 4th time that the Patriots have cheated to get to basically get to a Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. So, like, really, at this point, it's kind of like, okay, yeah, you won the trophy, but it should be kind of like Barry Bonds when he got the record for home runs. There should be a big asterisk on that ball.
Oh yeah, there are people who are kind of like,
or not on the ball. I'm sorry, on the trophy. This is the Vince Lombardi trophy because. I mean, look, you guys had deflated balls, no matter what. Deflated balls. Even if you want to still continue this bullshit of, I don't know. Yeah, fuck you. One of you knew, so one of you should be on a year suspension.
Yeah, that was. Now I don't know if we didn't talk about this in the last episode. Did we talk about like how they had like Bill Belichick actually gave like a whole press conference about?
I think that was after.
Okay, I think our podcast was. And let me okay, I'll be honest, I didn't watch the whole thing because I wasn't going to. But I think I mentioned it, like, Bill Nye kind of, talked about, last episode we were talking about how Bill Nye kind of like, when it, basically said it was bullshit. Because, let me explain something to you. Because Bill Belichick basically said that the quarterbacks rub the balls, not even joking, and that when you rub the balls, it creates friction, and friction creates static electricity, and static electricity makes the fucking things expand. Do you know, and this is going to sound like good, do you know how hard you have to rub your balls? do you know how fast and hard you would have to rub the balls? I mean, it sounds like a joke when I say it. You would have to wear the fucking skin off the football if you wanted to get any kind of, even something slightly remote. Now, mind you, these are brand new balls. I mean, let's keep saying balls. These are brand new balls that were, regulated, professional, they came from, the best of the best NFL, whoever has the official license. I don't know off the top of my head. So these are, it's not like an old set of tires. It's not like, it's not like something that, these things are brand new, used the first time that day of the game.
Right.
For you to rub.
Well, no. That's, wait a minute. Let's take this back. They're not brand new. What they are is basically, and let me explain this process because I've been hearing this fucking 50 times all over the goddamn place. And this has been actually said by a couple different quarterbacks. Mm-hmm. Basically what happens is at the beginning of the week, these quarterbacks are given footballs. Mm-hmm. I don't know if they get, from the sounds of it, they may get 12 new ones every single time, but, far be it from me to know that or care, to be honest with you. Mm-hmm. So each team gets, I want to say 12 balls. And basically, under the rules, they're allowed to do anything to these balls that they want to, except for making them under, is it 14 pounds?
Something like that. I wish I knew, but they're not supposed to deflate him, basically.
Right. So they were 2 pounds under what they were supposed to be. I believe they were 12 pounds, and they were supposed to be 14. Mm-hmm. And ironically enough, it was one of the Colts players that had actually gone up to the referee and said something. And, they're honor bound to check the balls. And sure enough, there it is. These balls are deflated. Mm-hmm. So whether or not, I don't know who did what, but somebody deflated balls. Yeah. And, even if the Colts got blown out, it's one of those things where you go, yeah, but you deflated your ball. Yeah,
don't sit here and act like, it takes a conscious effort. I'm saying it's not from accidentally rubbing the ball. Somebody went in, and I'm willing to bet that, it's not, I'm not saying Bill Belichick went in and did it. But I'm 99% sure somebody either was told by Bill Belichick or someone who, in fear of maybe losing their job, like Bill Belichick told someone to fire him, because they definitely have like a win at all costs kind of a mentality.
Right, but I'm gonna go a step further and say that I think Bill Belichick knew about it, but I didn't think. But there again, I think maybe Brady told them to do it because those are his balls. Those are the ones that he's gonna use on game day. Mm-hmm. So basically, either he knew or he's lying.
Yeah, and you would think, a guy that's a quarterback. I mean, this is his bread and butter. Here's a guy. It's gonna sound like here's a guy who plays with balls all day. It's sort of the same thing. I would put it like in my job, I handle money all day. And let me tell you, I can feel a fake bill in a heartbeat. Also because I've also been, and a guy like Bill Brady who's been doing this for years. For years and years ago, I used to work in a check cashing place. When you work with something every day, you start building like a consistency. You know what I'm saying? Like you could, and I find it hard to believe that a guy who, a guy with that kind of experience couldn't just just pick up the ball and realize, oh shit, there's an issue. Because they say, they say that it is known that a less deflated ball or a deflated ball is easier to catch. So I'm assuming that he knows what a deflated ball feels like. You know what I'm saying? It's not like he's some new guy. You know what I'm saying? Like some rookie, fresh off the boat, fucking kid. This guy's a professional NFL quarterback.
Well, and you have to understand, like, and this is going to sound really fucked up. Well, this is going to sound like sexual in nature, but some quarterbacks like their balls hard, and some quarterbacks like them softer. And it's. For me, and I think what they've said is it's actually easier to grip the ball, the less air that's in it.
Yeah.
So basically, you're saying that Tom Brady basically cheated.
Yeah, he felt his ball. Tom Brady felt his balls and realized,
Oh God, where are we going with this?
Tom Brady felt his balls, knew that there was an issue, and did nothing about it. At the very least, you know what I'm saying?
He's got to go to the doctor about that. So
yeah.
I'm waiting to see what the NFL is going to do. I think they're going to probably wait a week and then announce what they're going to do.
Mm-hmm.
But if they do dude, like, I would not want to be the commissioner right now because, number one, if you don't do anything, there's a picture of you and the Patriots coach, basically buddy.
Mm-hmm.
So now you're going to look like you're unbiased, or you're biased towards the Patriots, meaning, the Patriots can do no wrong. And B, on top of that, now you got pretty much, except for New England, most of the country saying, hey, these guys need to be punished.
Mm-hmm.
So, I hope he does something.
And remember, I mean, in a somewhat unrelated story, but still involving the commissioner, what's his name? Godot? Something like that. What the fuck's his name? Goodell. Remember the Ray Rice video a couple months ago, back in like September, when that Ray Rice, basically knocked his fucking fiance, knocked her the fuck out. Now, mind you, they knew that existed, and it wasn't until the news reported on it that
they did something about it.
Did something. So I'm willing to bet that like he's gonna let the fucking New England Patriots slide. Unless until, like, I guarantee you he's gonna at the worst like a slap on the wrist or some shit like that.
I don't know, dude, because honestly, like, if he does that, it's gonna come back and bite him in the ass really hard. And to be honest with you, like, this is the third time they've done something. They have to kind of send a message in this case. And here's the thing, okay? If there isn't any evidence that, if it comes out that there isn't any evidence that Belichick or Brady did anything, they should at the very least, lose a first-round draft pick. That's the way I see it right now. Because if it comes down to where, Belichick or Tom Brady, there's no evidence to prove it against them, then really what should happen at this point is, they should lose a first-round draft pick. Because here's the problem. You need to send a message in this case. And whether or not these balls were deflated, intentionally or unintentionally, they were still deflated. They should have been checked. The person that was doing the ball equipment should have checked them and made sure that they were what they were. And because you didn't, these balls were clearly deflated. So the team should suffer and at least lose a first-round draft pick, in my opinion. Because you know what? You need to send a message in this case. You need to tell these other NFL teams, look, if you're cheating, this is the shit that's going to happen.
Yeah.
You have to send a message in this case. You cannot just be like, oh, well, this is okay. Here, let me slap you on the wrist. No. Yeah. Sorry, it doesn't work like that.
And that last call, or like, I do have to admit, being a person, once again, not a fan of football, but watching that game, the last few minutes were exciting as fuck. I mean, frustrating as hell. Yes, frustrating as hell as a person rooting for the Seahawks. But when they decided to do a diagonal pass or whatever the case may be, when everyone was just saying give it to beast mode. Because the guy who played I forgot his name, Marshawn Lynch,
Dickhead Lynch.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, don't like him or not like him. I mean, one, he got a point for he got a score for the team, and I mean, everyone was saying that they should have given him the ball. They decided to throw it when it just clearly made no sense. Totally lost their momentum, totally fucked up their chance of getting the game. The other guy on the Patriots fucking intercepted the ball. Which was a total fucking like Hail Mary. No, I don't want to use Hail Mary because that's an actual football term. That was a totally 1 in a jillion fucking chance. Like, there's that guy caught the ball because his body happened to go in the same course as the football. You know what I'm saying? I think his arms went to catch the ball only because the ball already hit his chest. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
You know, he did not plan that to happen. Nobody planned that to happen. And that guy basically just lucked the fuck out. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you know, I'm pretty sure being on the Patriots, I mean, that guy is probably going to be heralded as a fucking hero or whatever. But I honestly, in my heart of hearts, feel that he had no intention of doing what he did. Lucked the fuck out, you know, luckily at the end of the game, and you know, had New England pull the fucking victory out of their ass with that kind of catch. Now, I do have to say, I saw a fucking hilarious video, and it was Marshawn Lynch or whatever the fuck his name is, and who was playing on the Seattle Seahawks, and Gronkowski or whatever the fuck his name is. I know his nickname is Gronk. What was that?
Gronkowski.
Gronk, who was a member of the Patriots, who also was responsible for a point in the game. It was a Conan O'Brien sketch, and you know, they went down to Arizona, and they pulled him out, and they brought, you know, the joke is they brought him to like a fucking Marriott a little bit down the road from the stadium, because they wanted to have him play in the stadium, but I guess security being the way it is, so they brought him into like some sort of like little bogus like meeting room of some hotel. And they had them play Mortal Kombat X, Mortal Kombat 10, which hasn't been released yet. But you know, Conan O'Brien has these hilarious fucking videos on YouTube called Clueless Gamer, where it's him and his friend, the guy who's the producer of the segment, actually loves video games, plays tons of video games, and you know, brings in Conan O'Brien to be a guy who absolutely has no idea what's going on, and of course, you know, is hilarious about it. But oh my god, you have to go and check out this video, Mortal Kombat X, Conan O'Brien. Because it has, and you know, and let me tell you, and then there's an outtakes video which isn't that funny, but you know, Marshawn Lynch or whatever the fuck his name is, I mean, that guy, oh my god, what a fucking hood rat. What you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, he's been lucky enough to get a career in NFL or whatever, but I mean, this guy is straight hood, straight fucking.
If you're talking about like the fact that like he had that press conference and he didn't really say that much, he hasn't really been saying much at a press conferences. I honestly think that Marshawn Lynch basically, how do I put this? He basically dug himself in his own hole, so to speak. Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, the reason why Buffalo dumped him was the fact that all he was doing was fucking drinking and doing drugs and shit. No, I'm sorry. It wasn't drugs or something, I don't think. It was some charge. I don't remember what it was. But, you know, I completely understand that this guy, you know, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I know. I kind of got a glimpse of this, and I'm looking up right now. He was born in Oakland, California, and Oakland is a pretty rough area. Yeah, let me see. He played for the Bills. Whatever. So long story short, I mean, he played for the Bills. I mean, but this guy came from the hood.
Oh yeah.
You know, I mean, this guy, you know, and very little has changed.
That's what I was gonna say. Is the reason why he doesn't say anything is because his lawyer and whatever else is probably just sitting there going, "Don't say anything." Because, like, if he opens his mouth and he says something stupid, people are going to be like, oh, look at this stupid fuck. Hard to make fun of him.
Now, when you watch the Conan O'Brien video, now, you know, it's one of those deals where, and it's not like in a what's the word? He's not purposefully being, like, disrespectful, but when you watch the game, when you watch him in the video playing Mortal Kombat, I mean, he seems like straight hood, you know, this guy's had I not known that this guy was a professional football player, you know what I'm saying? Like, I would assume that this guy, you know, is some sort of dropout, you know, criminal, saying like, you know, he was lucky enough to have a career, but, you know, he does not look, you know, I thought the NFL kind of had higher standards than that, but I guess that they don't.
No, they don't have higher standards.
Yeah. And
Seattle doesn't have higher standards, sorry, but that's the way it is.
That's the whole thing. When you watch the outtakes video, I mean, it's him just saying like the most ghetto shit. And, you know, and the joke is that Conan O'Brien, you know, is the whitest man in America, and, you know, not knowing a third of what the hell is coming out of this guy's mouth. So with that being said, I think we're going to go to a break, and we'll be back with more Dick and Fart jokes.
This episode of Two Strangers, One Podcast is brought to you by Comics Etc., 1115 East Main and North Goodman at the Hungerford Building, door number 8. Find out more information at comicsetc.biz or like them on Facebook at facebook.com/comicsetc1.
Click and Hit, enhancing the experience for all recreational smokers. Click and Hit is a one-handed portable vaporizer. This smoking pipe has a compact 4-stage design, complete with a built-in, windproof, butane refillable torch lighter. The large burn chamber holds your stash of legal herb or pipe tobacco. Click the button to ignite and inhale as usual. When you are done, put it back in your pocket for later. Smoke anytime with the touch of a button. No more carrying around grinders and tins. You can leave the pipe, rolling papers, and even your lighter at home. The Click and Hit cordless vaporizer is no bigger than a normal cigar, making it the world's smallest and most discreet vaporizer. It's perfect for use in small places or shared rooms. It's efficient, getting 5 to 8 draws from your packed chamber. It's affordable at just $19.95 each. Buy 3 and the shipping is free. Buy 4 and you get the 5th one free. Visit www.click-hit.com. That's clickandhit.com. And now for listeners of Two Strangers One Podcast, you can use promo code STRANGERS and receive 10% off your purchase at clickandhit.com. That's promo code STRANGERS for 10% off your purchase.
And we're back. Okay, holy smokes. I can't believe we wasted the whole... Not that we wasted the first half an hour, but I didn't think we were going to get to the first half an hour talking about as much stuff as we did, because holy shit, I got tons of nerdy news to go through. Okay, it's been rumored this week. Is there anything you want to get into, Paul, before I get started?
No, just go ahead.
Oh, okay. So, they were talking about Chris Pratt being rumored to be considered to be the next Indiana Jones to continue on in the series. And now, okay, obviously anyone who knows me knows the show. You know, I thought Guardians of the Galaxy was the best movie last year, and I haven't seen Jurassic Park. I know Jurassic World. I know it hasn't even come out yet, but you know,
well, it's still in. Yeah, it hasn't come out yet. You're right.
So you know, Jesus Christ. I mean, and not that I don't think it's a bad idea. In no way, shape, or form do I think this is a bad idea. But holy shit, are they wearing this guy out? You know, how many fucking franchises are we going to give this guy? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't, like I said, don't get me wrong, I love the guy, I really do, but I don't want them to shoehorn him into this role and not do it right. You know, we already kind of got burned by Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. You know, thank God it wasn't fucking Shia LaBeouf. I mean, thank God that didn't happen.
Yes, we all know that you're a big Shia LaBeouf fan.
But and I'm kind of quoting here the guys from Hollywood Babylon, Kevin Smith and Ralph Garman. You know, I certainly hope that when and if this happens, that they handle it like the James Bond movies, where they don't acknowledge the other movies. You know, it's sort of like just accept the fact that he's gotten younger. You know, it's another story in the Indiana Jones lifetime. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, have all the tropes. You know, have all the things that are in every Indiana Jones movie. You know, he's scared of snakes and the whip and you know, fighting the Nazis. You know, that's all fine and good, but you know, like, you know, don't make him Indiana Jones' son. Don't make him Indiana Jones, you know, not a reboot, you know, not like he never, you know, just let this be as if, you know, it's just another movie, you know what I'm saying? As if Harrison Ford de-aged 20, 30 years and, you know, continue to make the movies that he should have been making. Because, I mean, and I don't think, and, you know, Jurassic World, I don't think the movie's be good or bad because they used him. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think he's adding or subtracting anything from that movie. I think people really care about, you know, the CGI and the dinosaurs and stuff like that. So if Jurassic World comes out and people don't like it, it's not going to be Chris Pratt's fault. But I think if they use him in Indiana Jones, I think people are going to blame him if it doesn't come out well.
Now, is that a reboot, or is that he's like Indiana Jones' son somehow?
Well, no, that's the whole thing. Is that right now we don't know anything. The rumor is that he's being considered for the role. Right now, you know, it's still just early speculative talk, which, you know, I guess Jurassic Park kind of has a connection to Steven Spielberg. You know, Indiana Jones would have a connection to Steven Spielberg, even though it's, you know, George Lucas, but, you know, Steven Spielberg also. You know, seeing the connection, you know, having it become a reality is not too much of a far-fetched. And when you see Star-Lord in the beginning of the movie, when he's going through like the ancient temple to find the fucking Infinity Stone or whatever, I mean, it looks like a futuristic Indiana Jones. I'm saying I think he could pull it off, but, you know, they haven't brought it up, but I hope they leave it alone. Don't call it Indiana Jones' son. Don't call it a reboot. Just look, this is another Indiana Jones movie. As a matter of fact, let's forget Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. You know, you know, the same way, like, you know, like we want to forget the Star Wars prequels. You know, let's just forget about it. You know, this is just a whole new thing with a new guy, but it's still the Indiana Jones you grew up with and loved.
Right. Speaking of that, he went to the hospital, didn't he?
Oh yeah, so unfortunately, well, I mean, I don't want to say lost. I mean, he lost the bet because Chris Pratt was rooting for the Seattle Seahawks, and he's West Coast, and but from what I understand, he's actually a diehard Seahawks fan, not just because he's from the West Coast. There was actually someone shared pictures of even his wife Anna Faris, like they were at the Super Bowl, and actually he was at the Super Bowl also with Chris Evans, and like you see him like, and it was obviously like a joke picture, but like he's like showing like Anna Faris like football formations, but like he's using like ketchup bottles and apples on the tables. It was a cute picture. He lost the bet, so he's going. I don't know if it happened yet, because if it's happened, I haven't seen it on my timeline, where he has to swallow his pride, put on a Tom Brady jersey, and he's going to come to a place called Chris's House, if I'm not mistaken.
What the hell?
I think that's the name of it. I think it's called Chris's House, where it's for kids with cancer in New England. I want to say Boston, but don't quote me on that. So that's part of. And like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if Chris Evans holds up his part of the deal anyway. I can't see Chris Evans like saying, "Oh no, I won, so I don't have to do shit for the kids." I'm pretty sure Chris Evans is going to show up at the hospital also. So like I said, what was that?
He better.
Well, I mean, can't force him, but
Lost a bet, man.
Oh no. Chris Pratt, yes. Chris Evans, as I was saying, Chris Evans, who won the bet, even though he won the bet, if he still doesn't like show up dressed as Captain America out in whatever the hospital is in Seattle, it's kind of like a dick move. Like he should do it anyway, even though he won the bet.
Right.
So let me see. Just real quick, I had right before the episode, or what's trending on the news today, is Felicity Jones, who, I'll be very honest with you, I have no idea of this actress. I've never heard of her before. And I should have, because she was in The Amazing Spider-Man, but she was no major character. And but she was in this movie, the one that just came out, The Theory of Everything, the movie about Stephen Hawking. She was in a movie called The Invisible Woman, which I never heard of. Another movie called Like Crazy, I never heard of. But I guess it's probably good that she's an unknown, relatively unknown. I mean, I'm pretty sure the people out there are like, how do you not know her? But so she's been, we're all getting very excited about Star Wars, The Force Awakens coming out this December. But the rumor going on right now is that she is going to be the star of the first spin-off movie, because I think we announced this a while back, that the Star Wars movies, there's like 6 movies coming, where it's going to be an official Star Wars movie, episode 7, even though whatever it's going to be called, episode 7 or not. But there's going to be 3 movies that are like in canon, that are part of the whole story of Luke and Leia and Han Solo, and then there's sort of like these offshoot movies. Well, the rumor going on now is that Felicity Jones is going to be the star of this offshoot movie, the first one, and the rumors are she is going to be a female Mandalorian warrior. For people who don't know, the Mandalorian warrior is Boba Fett, that style of armor and helmet, iconic helmet, and for people who watch Star Wars Rebels, there is a character on that show which is a female Mandalorian warrior, and they kind of went into the Mandalorian warriors, the Mandalorian army in the last season of Star Wars: The Clone Wars. So there's already an established timeline. There's already because especially since they're considering Star Wars: The Clone Wars and Star Wars Rebels part of the official Star Wars canon. If you want to know more about the character that I guess she's going to play, you have to watch those shows to kind of give you a better idea of her. So it's going to be a female bounty hunter, or female, I'm assuming she's going to be a bounty hunter wearing the Mandalorian style armor, which, we're going to give people, we got to give the girls, we got all female Ghostbusters, I guess, now let's have a female led Star Wars movie, which I'm all for, as long as it's fucking cool looking and exciting and interesting, I don't give a fuck.
It's supposed to be a standalone film too, so.
Yeah. So it's going to, so right now it's still known as Untitled Star Wars Project. Obviously they haven't even started, getting it together, but the people behind the scenes already kind of have in their mind what's going to happen in this movie, how it's going to interact with the rest of the universe, what it draws from the existing universe. So Felicity Jones, which
isn't there supposed to be like a Boba Fett movie?
Well, people were thinking that this was going to be the Boba Fett movie, but it's starring her, which I'm pretty sure if they're smart, they're going to somehow connect it back to Boba Fett. I mean, just the fact that she's a Mandalorian warrior. I mean, or at the least Jango Fett, which kind of I'm just totally speculating, but this is Jango Fett's half sister or some shit like that, which makes her Boba Fett's cousin or so. They're gonna find a way to fucking.
Well, they're supposed to. What is it? I think they're supposed to do one about. There's supposed to be a standalone for Boba Fett, and then there's supposed to be one for Han Solo. I think, isn't there?
Yeah, once again, this is all totally rumors. This is all, but I'm saying the one thing that's been confirmed is that it's going to be a Mandalorian movie with the female lead, Felicity Jones, which I'm looking at pictures of her. She's cute, a brunette. I don't know what they're going to do with her. She's young. Let me see, how old is she? 83. Oh God, I feel like an old man. But it's all for it's I'm down. You know what I'm saying? They've already sold the ticket.
Right.
So that's pretty cool. Oh, during the Super Bowl, because this year's Super Bowl was on NBC. There was a 15-second teaser trailer for Heroes Reborn. I know Heroes, the first season, undoubtedly, I defy anybody who, the first season of Heroes was one of the best on television shows in the history of fucking television. I'm sorry. Of course it fell apart in season 2, season 3, season 4. Season 2 kind of fell apart because the writer's strike at the time. And then unfortunately, I guess they lost so much steam that season 3 and season 4 were kind of, which in my opinion, okay, season 3 was bad, but season 4 was, since they knew they were wrapping it up, they had a chance to kind of bring things full circle, to kind of reference things that actually happened in the first season that weren't explained. And they actually kind of left it in a way where it was open-ended enough where if they wanted to continue to have a 5th season, they could have, but they kind of wrapped up everything they needed to wrap up. So, like I said, there's absolutely nothing known about Heroes Reborn, except obviously the one character that's returning is HRG, the horn-rimmed glasses, which is, he's in the.
You call him a whore? That's not.
And because in the first season of Heroes, a lot of the heroes started getting their powers right after an eclipse. The even the symbol for heroes is the moon going in front of the sun. Well, this one in the 15-second teaser trailer, it shows the eclipse happening during an aurora borealis. Which is when the sun's rays hit the earth at a certain angle and all the shit in the air or whatever the case may be. Which it's showing true to roots the same way the first heroes got their powers from an eclipse. This is powers that came with an eclipse with the aurora borealis. So, and that's all we know about. There's an aurora borealis and HRGs in it. I'm fucking super excited. The thing that kills me is that 2 of the main actors. Now, of course, it's called Heroes Reborn, so it's kind of starting all over again. Obviously HRG is going to be in it, but the actor that played Sylar, which was such a huge character in the original Heroes, he's doing a show for NBC called The Slap, which is supposed to be some sort of drama series, which I'm not really into. I know he was on American Horror Story. He was on American Horror Story for I think all of the first 4 seasons, in smaller parts, but he was on that show. And then also just announced tonight, Milo Ventimiglia, who played I forgot his character's name on Heroes, but he was also in he was perfectly cast as Sylvester Stallone's son in Rocky 6 or whatever the fuck. What was it called? It was just called Rocky, right? Or no, Rocky
500. No, it was called Rocky, I believe.
Yeah, so he was Rocky Balboa's son in the last movie, and let me tell you, he looks like he could be Sylvester Stallone's kid, and he kind of does the whole when he talks, he kind of half his mouth kind of drags down a little bit the way Sylvester Stallone talks. So he was perfectly cast as Sylvester Stallone's kid. But he just got cast. Milo Ventimiglia is the name of the actor. He was just cast in Gotham, another superhero TV show, which is, in my opinion, still one of the better shows on TV right now. But then again, no, it's kind of dragging its feet, but I like it. But then again, I'm such a Batman fan that I'm probably giving it a lot more credit than it needs. But so he's being cast as Jason Lennon, a.k.a. the Ogre from the DC Universe. So, 2 of the main characters, Milo Ventimiglia and Zachary Quinto, are both away doing other projects. And they're probably not going to be part of Heroes Reborn, which, I get, but it kind of hurts me, because those 2 were the main 2 characters in the show. And I kind of wish they would find, at least sneak them in an episode or something.
Right.
Okay. Let's talk about Ricardo Medina a.k.a. one of the Red Rangers from the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers,
Yes.
stabbing his roommate. Let me see. And I had the link around here somewhere. Did I lose it?
Apparently, his roommate was trying to attack him and his girlfriend, and basically, when the guy tried to come into the room,
That he stabbed, it was over a girl. But I think that from what I'm reading, it's a little more than that.
what was I saying?
Because what I'm getting, and it's sad, I'm getting my news from like PerezHilton.com, was that Ricardo's girlfriend would stay in the apartment with him and his two guys sharing an apartment, and then the girl would even be at the apartment when the guy wasn't there. Which, I mean, it is kind of stressful. Like, you don't want to be around another guy's girlfriend, because that's kind of, and plus,
But what they said was the guy was basically the guy came after him, and he told him to stop, and they went into the room so that he couldn't get in. Then he came into the room and basically stabbed him.
Yeah,
something along those lines.
And that's the whole thing, is that the way they I mean, of course, this is totally speculating that the story is true. If you lock yourself in a room, or you close yourself in the room, and the person continues to come at you, he was 100% in the right to fucking.
Yeah, but the problem is,
I mean, murder's probably a bit much, but
yeah, I think it should be a lower charge, because the thing is at least here in New York State, if you kill somebody or you wound somebody, it has to be with equal or lesser force. So, for example, if the guy's just trying to beat the shit out of you and you stab him with a fucking sword, you're using more, how do I put this? Basically, you're using more weapons on him in that case, and therefore, you're going to lose your parking.
Yeah. Now, well, okay. Well, while we're talking about it, I look it up online, and according to this, they are dropping the charges. Let me see. Shit. I mean, unfortunately, I'm trying to see if I can get it from a better. I'm trying to see if I can get it from a better news source, because I could be totally wrong. But I'm just going to say right now when we're recording this, I mean, it's SourceFeed.
Right.
According to this is a Discovery Channel digital network. According to SourceFeed, that they reported that he was arrested for murder, and it turns out he's not going to be charged. And it says that he released a statement saying he's very, very sorry for what occurred. I'm happy to be out of jail, and my heart goes out to the Sutter family. And Attorney Alan Bell agrees with the decision not to press charges, saying that he believes that there were no facts to call it a crime. So I guess as I'm looking it up right now, he wasn't charged, which, once again, if we have no idea what the real facts of the case are, but if that's the case, and because you said, you were telling me before the episode that there was Jason David Frank kind of got pissed off over.
Yeah, I don't remember what the exact post is, but it's on his Facebook. Basically, it was like, I don't know, something about people were talking about the Power Ranger brand, how this is ruining the Power Ranger brand, and whatever. I don't know, but it wasn't any of my business. It wasn't any I kind of looked at it and went why is this on here?
Yeah, well, I mean, when you have that many people as part of a franchise, I mean, of course, what it's like someone blaming you for something your coworker did,
right?
You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, we just had the same job, and not that they're blaming him, but like people bringing you the nonsense of something that happened to your coworker.
Right.
Let's just say my coworker went out and got drunk and fucking drove and fucking killed a family, ran a red light and hit another car and killed a whole family of people, which actually happened in one of my old jobs.
Wonderful.
Yeah, and it was a guy that was sober for like 20 years, and he went to a bachelor party and decided to start drinking, and then he was driving home in the middle of he was driving home. It was so late that it was early, like 6 o'clock in the morning kind of deal. Right. Drunk as fuck, ran a red light, and like killed a family. And as horrible as that sounds, if people brought that nonsense to me, like, I'm not responsible for the actions of another human being just because we just so happen to have the same job, and we work in the same place, and I may know the guy and even say that he's, before all this nonsense, he was a good dude. I don't bring that bullshit to me. That's his fucking problem. That's his fault, or that's his circumstance. Don't expect me to comment on it. Because do you ever see like the rumors? And I guess it turned out that it was fake. Like there was like they said like there was a Power Ranger that was like in gay porn.
Yeah, they for the longest time they thought that the original Red Ranger.
That was debunked. St. Austin.
Yeah, it was. I can't think of what his first name is.
Or
Austin St. John. That's what
Austin
it is.
St. John. There we go. Yeah.
Basically, they thought there's this guy that looks almost like him.
Yeah, in gay porn, and
Yeah.
and apparently that guy like is a big bodybuilder type because
Right.
like, not is he a porn, but he bulked up and went into
And
porn.
at the time when the picture was taken, like he's like, "Dude, I was in the army. Like, what do you want me to do? Like I'm overseas doing stuff, and you guys are blaming, saying that I'm in gay porn. It's like, okay." So, but Jason David Frank doesn't like him, so I'm sure he probably had a few comments.
Oh, okay.
I've actually heard that Jason David Frank won't do a con with him. Like if a con picks him and Jason David Frank up, he will not. He refuses to do it.
Oh shit.
So I guess it's really that bad.
Oh, that sucks.
So, but yeah, that's
Okay. And then I'm on the last thing on my list of things to talk about. And it's funny because this sort of, once again, people who watch the show, listen to the show, know that I am a huge, gigantic fan of the show Megas XLR. Well, once again, one of the characters, Jody Schaefer, and has been a guest on this show. He's married to his husband. He's a gay individual, and has been living his life quite out loud. And George Kirstick right now, who's in the middle of like 10 other projects, and he's doing a bunch of things. He works for Riot Games. Now, Riot Games is mostly known for doing League of Legends, which I've never played League of Legends, but I've played DC Infinite Crisis, which from what I understand is a straight ripoff of League of Legends. They basically took League of Legends and said, hey, let's put superheroes in it, and did DC Infinity Crisis.
right.
And it's a game where you and like 5 other team members, and I mean, there's different variations, but basically it's like, you have you and your team start on one side, the other people and the other team start on the other side, and you kind of slowly work your way across the field, and you set up these things called turrets, and you fight the other people's turrets, and it's one of those deals where I have friends that are into this, and I just don't get it. And as much as I liked the DC Infinite Crisis, as fun as the game may be, even though I didn't really describe it as fun, the community is absolutely horrible. If you fuck up, you got people who are very rude and nasty and mean, and of course, it's the internet, it's online communities. What would you expect except people being assholes? So I used to really like DC Infinite Crisis, but after just dealing with the community, I just stopped playing it. That being said, Riot Games, who George Kirstick works for, League of Legends is apparently a big fucking deal, and even though I've never played it, they had a tournament, and I lost the damn name of the tournament right now.
Damn it, Chris, you need to be prepared.
Okay, no, the tournament, here we go, was called, shit, what the fuck is the name of the tournament? Long story short, long story short, it was a tournament that they purposely made geared towards women. As much as they say women make up 51% of the gaming community. Oh, okay, here we go. Iron Solari is the name of the tournament. Iron Solari, which runs on a monthly basis and basically was a tournament hosting female players. Well, I guess apparently there were people part of the LBGT community, lesbian, gay, transgendered, and bisexual, which basically they were saying that guys who used to be women, women who used to be guys were joining these teams. And that being said, they felt that a woman who used to be a guy had an advantage over playing with women, which, I think we kind of discussed this a while back, like in the UFC, where I think they wanted to have a transgendered a fighter, for all intents and purposes, was once a guy, but for right now, for all intents and purposes, is a woman. They feel that, maybe the guy. So long story short, they banned LBGT play. They banned like gay, transgendered, people from, and of course, people lost their fucking mind and they fought it, and they were making people feel bad about it, whatever the case may be. So Riot Games, caved is not the right word, because that sounds like I'm like being anti-gay. I'm not being anti-gay. What I'm saying is, it's funny that, 2 friends of the show are kind of, even though I don't know if neither of them have commented on it, and I don't know if they want to, or whatever the case may be, but I just thought it was kind of interesting that, one guy who works for one company and his gay friend, kind of, I guess they would be on not opposite sides. I don't think George would be for them not letting transgendered people play online video games,
Right.
It was, but I'm just saying his company, the company he worked for. I guess that's kind of unfair for me to say that because like we were just saying the stuff that your coworkers do, but his company at first did want LBGT members in it, but I guess now they have them in it. So I just wanted to kind of report on that real quick, and it's one of those deals where like it's like holy shit, just shut up and just let it happen.
Right.
And okay, with that, we like to tell people you can visit twostrangersonepodcast.net. You can find everything show related. You can find links to our iTunes page. If you have an iPhone, iPad, iPod, and you want to subscribe to us on any of your iDevices, you can go to our page and click on the link, or you can just go to the iTunes store and go to podcasts and search for Two Strangers One Podcast. See our beautiful red, white, and blue logo, and you can go back and listen to damn near 3 episodes. In April, this podcast will be 3 years old.
Hey.
You go back and listen to 3 years worth of content. Say, what Chris was thinking about back in July of 2013 or whatever.
Oh God, I don't want to listen to that.
And if you don't have an iPhone, iPad, or iPod, you could also find our links to our Stitcher. You could either go to Stitcher.com or you could download the Stitcher app for Android devices and subscribe to us on there. The cool thing about Stitcher, what I like most about it, is that you can download the most recent episodes while you're at your house, while you're in your Wi-Fi area, or if you're at McDonald's, or if you're at the public library, or if you're at what's the other place I always think about? Starbucks. If you're at a place that has Wi-Fi, you can download all the episodes and listen to them later on. You don't have to use up your data. If you're one of those people like me that has like AT&T and you're kind of like, oh my God, I don't want to use up all my data. You can download it while you're in a Wi-Fi area, and later on when you're out and about, if you're in your car driving around, or if you're working out, or you're doing whatever it is you do that spends time and you want to have something to listen to, you can listen to us on the Stitcher app. And like I said, it keeps the most recent 6 episodes, so it's not clogging your phone with old episodes from 3 years ago. You can do that and subscribe to other podcasts, pretty much every podcast worth listening to. Mark Maron, Adam Carolla, Kevin Smith's Smodcast, Chris Hardwick's Nerdist, and of course the Toonami Faithful. Now, I just want to recommend that you double check and make sure, because I had subscribed to the Toonami Faithful, and I had their old feed and not their new feed, but the episodes are there. Just make sure, because the old feed only goes up to like episode 23. So I just want to get you.
Well, they should, as of this podcast, it's up to episode 30, so it should update to 30. Basically, because we're switching to SoundCloud.
Yeah, I'm just saying that if you find the Toonami Faithful podcast on Stitcher and you see that it's the feed that only goes up to episode 23, that's the wrong feed. Unless you want to listen to those old episodes.
That's the right feed, actually.
Oh, it is.
That is the right feed. Yeah. Because basically, what's happening is you can't hear any of the you can't hear any of the new episodes on there. But basically, what we did was we restarted Stitcher because there wasn't a lot of people that were using Stitcher.
Oh, okay.
And it was a great way to see how the feed would work, see if it would work the way we wanted it to, and it does, obviously. So. If you guys wanted to hear the first year of the podcast, you can listen to it on Stitcher. But, I'm slowly getting everything over there. So once it all gets over there, we'll be up to the new episode.
And you guys have switched over to SoundCloud, like you said a second ago.
Well, we've switched to SoundCloud in the sense that old episodes are being moved over to that.
Okay.
Once they've all been moved over, then that's when we will completely switch over to SoundCloud. We're still using Podomatic for new episodes, so it'll be on Podomatic and it'll be on iTunes, but and it'll be done by the end of the month, no matter what. Once we get everything moved over, then we're going to connect SoundCloud to iTunes, which, from what I'm hearing, should be okay, but, I've heard some issues with SoundCloud, so that's why we kind of have... we have SoundCloud app, which works on everything, even Windows phones. And
all 3 of you out there with a Windows phone.
Yeah, actually, they're becoming more and more popular, believe it or not.
Yeah, I've used SoundCloud because not used SoundCloud, but I listen to I'm a big fan of Kevin Smith and all his podcasts, and they've switched over to SoundCloud.
Right. So
that's using that, and of course I kind of have my own SoundCloud, but it's my SoundCloud is basically when I've made like unique intros for the show, and I just want to save them somewhere online in case I ever.
Oh, I thought you were going to say your SoundCloud in your pants or something.
In my pants. So if I ever, but I mean, my SoundCloud is, which, but I guess, one day I'll once our year at Podomatic, this year is up at Podomatic, I may seriously consider switching over to SoundCloud. But
dude, it's unlimited for $15 a month, so you might as well just do it.
Yeah, I mean, well, we're paid up till October.
Right. Well, I'm just saying
afterwards.
I'm saying afterwards, like what
year 4.
But there again, on Mike Podcast is sponsored, so anyways.
If you're looking to sponsor the podcast, you can contact us at twostrangersonepodcast@gmail.com. So once again, like with all the other stuff, I'll find a way to work that in. twostrangersonepodcast@gmail.com. I'd like to thank you, everybody else who's been interacting with the show. Special shout out to Oscar. He writes the funniest ones. I love his the best. If he...
By the way, fuck you, Arthur. Fuck you, Oscar. I don't give a shit about Tony Stark. Okay, it should have been Captain America. Okay, God damn it.
And holy shit. So let me see. If you can share us on Facebook. I mean, if you don't have a dime to give to the show, you can find us on Facebook. Just go to facebook.com/twostrangersonepodcast. Once again, that's Two Strangers on Podcast, all spelled out. It takes 2 seconds to share this episode or our page. We've been floating around 500 likes. So if we could break that 500 like barrier, that'd be fucking awesome. Let me see what else. You can find us on Twitter @Stranger Podcast. I keep trying to want to be a little more active on the Twitter. It's basically just the Twitter just retweets the stuff that we've posted on Facebook. But I do promise this. I should probably be like a New Year's resolution. I do promise to be a little more active on the Twitter and kind of get us more listeners.
Be more active on the Twitter.
Yeah, on the Twitter.
More active on the Twitter.
And let me see. I think I covered everything I need to cover. I acquiesced for you, sir.
Oh, fucking time. Jesus Christ. It took you so long to get there. Anyways, you can find me on Twitter at Paul Pascrillo, P-A. My last name is spelled P-E-S-C-R-I-L-O. God, I'm fucking tired. You can ask me questions on my ask.fm. It's ask.fm/Paul Pascrillo. And I have an Instagram where you can see behind the scenes of me. So if you want to see beautiful pictures of my girlfriend, well, my fiance, I should say, and, other stuff like the fucking terrible weather up here, you can go there. So, also, I'm actually moving Geeky to a new server, so heads up, you may not be able to access Geeky from GeekyInc.com. It may actually be GeekyIncProductions.com, which it should be. So don't be surprised if that happens. Also, we have some things coming up nerdcore-wise. I can't talk about them yet. Let's just say that for people that are going to certain concerts, you may be able to get physical copies. I'm not saying it's Nerdcore Absolution either. So you need to keep an eye out because I have some exciting things coming. But that's about it.
Okay, so we certainly hope you guys enjoyed listening, had as much fun as we did recording. Thank you for listening to Two Strangers One Podcast. I'm Chris.
I'm Paul.
Don't be a stranger.
Peace. We're out.
Bye.
Where's my bed? Oh wait, my bed's right here.
All right, here we go, man. Go ahead. You want to read
Double
it?
Jackpot.
What is it?
It is a self-published book by Christopher Cologne.
Chris Cologne smells good to me.
But
Look at her. That broke that fucking cold little exterior. He's like, hee.
But it is spelled C-O-L-O-N.
Him punny.
But Double Jackpot is a book about a comic book artist, Eric, who is in a loveless relationship with a materialistic
I feel you, Eric.
Lynette.
Oh, fucking. Are you sure I didn't write this? Sounds hauntingly familiar.
He starts cheating on his girlfriend with a more creatively supportive woman, Nadia.
Well, I gotta meet her. Where's the Nadia?
There's your summer girlfriend.
Summer Nadia is Nadia.
Nadia?
Yeah, I think Nadia spelled with an A.
All right.
Both Lynette and Nadia play the double jackpot, the largest payout in lotto history, much like the recent Powerball. Both girls play his birth date as the winning numbers. Eric is now stuck between two of the country's richest women. Who will he choose? It's not that simple. This is a clever fucking idea,
Yeah, it
man.
is.
Look at her, fucking. She's impressed.
I am.
She got some summer reading. Christopher Cologne smells real lovely with an original idea. This is. I've never heard this before.
I haven't either. This is a self-published book, much in the indie spirit as Kev's Clerks.
Oh, you don't even need to name check me. This is just a good idea. You could stand on your own, man. You don't even have to be like, hey, remember Clerks? This is nothing like that. This is way more original than Clerks. This is a good idea, man. Why didn't I think of this?
I need something to read. This book is part of the Comic Books, Heavy Metal, Video Games Trilogy Book 2. Odd I See, A Tale from the Road, coming soon.
Right on, man. It's part of a trilogy. This is the first part.
Way to write, man.
He's seeking a literary agent. Motherfuckers, anybody out there? There ain't no literary agents listening to this show, I assure you, sure. Sure. I assure you, sure. But somebody know a literary agent? Hook a motherfucker up! Chris Cologne come up with an original idea. I should tell Raskin, that's a good fucking idea, to be honest with you. That's a fucking rom-com right there. Megan, get Raskin on the phone. Isn't it possible to get Raskin on the phone? No?
Yeah.
I want to run it past him, man. I want to, and if it happens, I get a taste, Chris Cologne. I get a whiff, if you will.
The book could also be ordered on www.lulu.com.
That's lulu.com.
I understand that. I just want to spell it out.
Normally one says it, that spells it. Still, lulu.com. What is that? Do you know what it is?
I don't know. All right. The book could also be ordered on www.lulu.com. Search for Double Jackpot Christopher Cologne. A paperback version of the book is $15 and a PDF file is only $5.
$5 is
Yeah.
insanely inexpensive. 15 is not even that bad for a paperback version.
No.
This is $1 million idea right here. Like a movie about a dude who fucking is stuck between two chicks, both of who play his birthday and win the lottery. Come on! I can see that trailer. Chris Cologne is on to something. Nobody else can smell it but me.
I'll read it.
Thank you. I'm going to make that smelly joke.
I know. You're trying to get me to laugh again.
It worked once. Double Jackpot is a self-published book by Chris Cologne, man. It's the first book in his Comic Books, Heavy Metal, Video Games trilogy. Book 2, Odd I See, A Tale from the Road, should be coming out soon. Get all the information at Chris Cologne, like a motherfucker.
I will
his
totally
book,
read this.
Double Jackpot. I'm serious. I'm going to recommend that to fucking Raskin. How is that not a movie? You know what I'm saying? This could be a sexy movie. You could do an R-rated version. There could be nudity in it, and you could show them fucking both chicks. Maybe a little penetration. Maybe a butthole shot. No butthole, no care.
I would like to formally apologize to Christopher Cologne right now.
No, sex sells. Chris Cologne will appreciate that. He's like, thanks for throwing a few buttholes in there, man.
Don't forget to check out twostrangersonePodcast.net, your one-stop resource for everything show-related. You can find links to subscribe to us on iTunes or on Stitcher. You could also find links to buy my book, Double Jackpot, on twostrangersonepodcast.net.
Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. You're cool. And fuck you, I'm out.